About 4 years ago, I took a tin workshop, and it just fit in with my sensibilities really well. I usually draw a picture first of how I want the piece to go. Then I lay plastic over it, and I'll decide I want to do a small section, we'll say a bear's leg, and I find a piece of tin, a printed piece somewhere that looks like bear hair. These little pieces that I end up cutting, they are like little brush strokes. So I cut that little piece out and I lay the little brush strokes together, and I have light pieces where I want the sun coming down or the light coming in, and I have the darker pieces underneath, and it just all comes together. Sometimes I just get completely inspired by an actual piece of tin when I'm hunting for the tin, and I'll see a piece of tin and I'll say I just need to have that, like the piece of All for Thee, which is the Punch and Judy theater piece. There's the Joker at the top of that, and I found that piece in the Zurich flea market. I like people to have to look at the piece carefully. Most of my pieces I think you have to look at pretty carefully, because there's usually something subtle or not so subtle that might be going on that you don't realize at first. So I started thinking about family connections and how every family has secrets. And I look at the ancestors' portraits that I have in my family, and I think about my grandmother, and I know that my grandmother was illegitimate. She never wanted that shame to be passed on. Hence I have the plague masks on these ancestors, because I just think that the secrets in families can be so toxic that it affects generation after generation. I started looking at stats of gun deaths in Florida. The one I find most horrifying is children accidentally shooting other children. And so that's what this piece is about. The tragedy of children getting a hold of a gun and shooting another child by mistake is just something that can totally be avoided. And it is a law in Florida that if you have children in your house, you're supposed to have your guns locked up. And so all the little handguns on this piece are representative of a child shooting another child accidentally in 1 year in Florida. I think I've really captured the feeling of a big storm, with things just flying through the air, and household items flying through the air, books, pots, articles of clothing, and the big boat in the middle is sort of just a nest or the safetiness of a home, but it's obviously also up in the air. And that piece is about me emotionally really getting ready for my children to leave for college. I was thinking that I was like this outsider, but I'm not. I am a Florida artist.